All right, the ninth problem we have, we're just going to perform the indicated operation. This time we're going to be multiplying these two terms together. So we have a negative 9d plus 4, and that is being multiplied times a negative 6d plus 6. We're going to be doing distributive properties, so the 9d times the negative 6d, and then we'll do the 9d times 6. So this first term will multiply both of these, and then 4 we'll do the same, and we'll combine like terms. So negative 9 times a negative 6 is going to give us a positive 54. Both of them have a d, so d times d will give us a d squared. And then 9d times positive 6, negative 9d positive 6 will give us a negative 54d. Okay, so at this point I'm done with the 9d. I've multiplied it times both terms. So now I'm going to do the 4. 4 times the negative 6d will give me a negative 24d. And then 4 times 6 will give me a positive 24. And we will combine like terms, and that will give us 54d squared. Combine these, we'll add them. It'll give us a negative 78d, and then a positive 24. So once we FOIL that out, this is what we'll get there. So we got positive 54d squared, and then minus 78d, and then plus 24. All right, and we got one more. This one we just have some decimals involved. 0.9 minus 3.1 z, and then 0.9 plus 3.1 z. Now I know usually when we have equality with this one, I would like to get rid of the decimals so they all have a 0.1. So if I was to multiply by 10, everything by 10, that would move it over. However, I'm not sure if they want us to go back to the original form or not. So since I don't have equal, I can't multiply both sides by 10 and keep it equal. So I'm going to keep track of what I do, and maybe if I have to undo it at the end, I'll do that. So just to make it whole numbers, I'm multiplying everything by 10, and that's going to give me 9 minus 31z, and that's going to give me 9 plus 31z. Okay, and what I did is I multiplied whatever the answer is times 10. So I'm putting this 10x here, so I multiplied by 10. What we want to know here, there's a difference of squares. Okay, so there's a special formula called difference of squares, and that says if you have a squared minus b squared, so difference, two squares, that's the same as a plus b times a minus b. Okay, and the reason why I'm looking at this is because both of these have the exact same makeup. The 9 could be represented by a, the 31z could be represented by b, and one has plus and one has minus, so this formula will work. So the overall answer that I get will just be the end result of squaring the first term and squaring the second term. So if I do 9 squared and then subtract, and this should be 31z squared, this will give me my final answer. So 9 squared will give me 81. 31 squared, I will multiply that out. 1, 3, 3, 9. So we get 961. And then that'll be the z also gets squared, so that's z squared. So this is what we get, but remember I multiply by 10, so if I go back and divide by 10 to kind of undo, go back so I don't have to deal with decimals, this is 8.1, and then this will be a 96.1 z squared. So I believe this is the form they're going to want it in. If you had equality, you can multiply both sides by 10 and it'll still work out. However, since we didn't have an other side, we got to go back and put it back in the original format. So 8.1 minus 96.1 z to the second power. And they don't like that, so let me just double check. That all looks good. Let me confirm 31 squared. Yep, 961. It all looks good. Let me see if I went ahead and put it in whole numbers. 81 and 961. They don't like that one either. I'm not seeing anything. 9 times 9, 81. Oh, this should be 0.81. I'm sorry. When you multiply with a decimal twice, that should give you a point. It moves it over twice. So it should be 0.81, and this should be 9.61. Okay, so that is... Did I close that calculator up already? Yep. I think I need to leave it all the way in decimal form. When you do 0.9 squared, that decimal gets moved further to the right. We get 0.81, and then when you do 3.1 squared, you get 9.61. So I should have added an extra decimal place instead of moving it just to 1.